I'm really pleased to be joined by Jun Dam, the co-founder of Bitcash Bank. June, thanks so much for joining us today.
Happy to be here, Mark. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Excellent. Well, give us the elevator pitch. What is Bitcash Bank?
Yeah, so Big Cash Bank is a a platform for it really is a platform using this latest and greatest technology of cryptocurrency and blockchain uh, to provide all the banking services that you normally would have with a traditional bank and just use crypto and blockchain, Bitcoin and crypto. So that's the idea. We can do the things that we do normally day to day using this technology without having to walk into a bank, without having to pull money from an ATM, without um, without just having the banks close on you on the weekends. Things like that. We have a Bitcoin, which is a new money, and now we have an extra layer on top of that, which is a financial layer where you could make payments, you could trade, you could invest. Really, after a while, people been around in cryptocurrency and in this industry realize that hey, we don't really have to go back to what we are used to with going walking into a bank and writing a check and doing any of that, or investing and having to go through the process of setting up an account. It's really, you could get in, get crypto, start investing, I think, in these new organizations of the future, make payments, mimic everything that's going on in the real world today, and but using just purely your computer or your phone. And so that's what's exciting. And I think we're just at this point where we're ready to go mainstream with everything. So that's what's so exciting. So
Yeah, Satoshi wrote the white paper back in 2008, was it? And still, much of the world doesn't have a clear on-road into getting into the crypto. I'd venture to say that much of the world doesn't even know what crypto is, right? And yet it presents a really interesting opportunity to trade and to sell your whatever you happen to be selling. So it sounds to me like Bitcash Bank is in part going to make that a bit easier for people, maybe even the unbanked, to get involved with crypto, maybe even leapfrogging the traditional bank structure. Is that part of your vision?
exactly. And I think the first use case is naturally for those that have been in the space for a while is really to first get to participate in this new system. So buying Bitcoin is buying new money, or this is asset that's potentially going to become the money of the world. And even that process and understanding the opportunity there and the wealth generation potential of that is usually the first step people get into this space for. And so we're trying to help with that process as well as the starting point for um, all of the other applications we're going to build on Bitcash Bank. So the first case in crypto, get involved in buying money. It's kind of funny to say, but you're buying Bitcoin and buying this new money, and also assets that represent, I think, these future organizations or platforms or networks, however you want to describe it. Let's say platforms like that, the infrastructure and applications. And the many coins that represent those applications. So the investing part is the first step in that. Over this last decade, it's still today the most in demand. That's what people want to do. They see the opportunity. They see the opportunity to participate and invest in this new future. So I see that still as the starting point. And then as we branch out, I think, especially for those that are unbanked, and as you mentioned, they can leapfrog into all of this, where it's just going to be useful day to day to make payments, to do foreign exchanges, do commerce with other countries and people in other countries. It's getting loans, getting whether it's for them personally or for their business. Many applications you can imagine that we use a bank for, our traditional financial system for. We can imagine using just this new technology. And so I think we're coming into this new future where the software, and they say software eats the world. Software is going to take over what we traditionally have used people for, right? And maybe seem a little bit scary, but I think people over time are trusting technology more than people, where there's always a kind of this mm, I would say uncertainty about holding money with other people or even organizations, right? And trusting the software not to run away with your money, for example, right? That is the
Right.
power of this technology. The removal of a third party or a counterparty to your money will keep it secure. And so that's really what a large part of this problem has been, where whether it's a custody, someone is just holding your money for you, they could run away with it, and or even if it's an organization, there's always things that go on, or it could just not only custody, but it's just everything involved with it, like the transparency of knowing, what's happening to it operationally, so you can manage it better, where your money goes, what it does after particular actions. So it could just expand into anything you could think of. You could program it, and if you could program something, you can make money work in many different exciting ways. And
Hmm.
simple escrow contract, you have money, both people say, yes, the other person has delivered on what they said they were going to do, and then the software releases the money to the other person. And a simple contract like that is now very easy to do with the software. And
Yeah. Well, I happen to have a bank account and I still want to use the system. So, is it going to be interesting and useful for people who are already investing in crypto and already making these kinds of trade and familiar with that space, or is it just focused on the unbanked?
yeah, exactly. So it's really for those that are, it takes time for people to transition into something new. So there's going to be a period of time where people are going to use both, right, systems, like the traditional system, and I believe uh, this new system will gain more and more traction. But for people that already have money, I think it's an opportunity to just invest more into the future. So you could use the money you have in a traditional bank and just use the capital that you have already accumulated, and just to participate as an investor into this space. And that's where people who already have capital have an advantage. Those that are unbanked, I think now are having um, an opportunity to participate as well, but they may not have as much capital. While it will even the playing field, those that do have capital, there's somebody going to be give more opportunity for those that don't, but with capital that's already an advantage. So I think everybody can benefit from this technology and this future. Uh, I
That's
think, yeah,
great.
if you're using bank accounts, I think you know I think you're going to be using it more and more, though, for payments every day. I think people who get used to this technology will transition into this new system. Um, so I'm excited about like everyone being a part of it too. So,
Now,
and I
it
think
seems that
you're sharing in this. Oh, sorry, Rana.
no, go
Uh,
ahead. Go ahead, please. Yeah.
go ahead. Yeah.
No, go
Well, I was
ahead.
saying
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
you're sharing in this global economy, right? So that you're participating with the unbanked, even if you're using now entering a system that is, I think, more gives opportunity to everybody. So it has participating in a system that's very global, and I think rather than isolated from everybody else. So I think it's an opportunity to help this global economy move forward by entering the system that is that allows everybody to participate kind of equally. So
Right.
that's what I think is another great side effect of just being using a system that is, I think, what people will find as more useful. And the side effect is that, wow, it's useful, but it's also beneficial for everyone around the world. So
So yeah, yeah. So it's basically a way to get involved in decentralized exchange, but you know that it's putting more into the system, uh, more liquidity, right? And allowing the system to thrive, and you know that system is helping people around the world who are less fortunate and who weren't born into wealthy, highly developed countries, but are still trying to get ahead, trying to make a life for themselves and their families, and yes, trying to find an on road into the crypto world, right? So to me, it seems like a great vision. Now, one aspect of this is that it's decentralized. So can you talk about the importance of decentralization on this exchange, and um, and just your thoughts on that? If it's decentralized, who do I call up when I have a complaint?
all right. So, and I think, yeah, and those are great points. The decentralization is a key to this technology, and I think, unfortunately, over the last 5 plus years of this industry, most people who invest and trade, they use centralized exchanges that do hold the crypto for you. So really, this technology is about empowering people, giving people the opportunity to not be restricted and be limited with this new money. But oftentimes now they still go back and they put it into a centralized exchange, whether it's Coinbase or Binance. And they provide great services, and I think custody can be a service. But I think when you see the history of, especially the smaller exchanges, there have been stories of many hacks and people losing money. So we've kind of have to evolve, I think, over time to be able to um, be take on a little bit of responsibility, and then keep the money and keep the power of you know having this money just purely on your computer, and all the benefits that come with it. Now, I think we as an industry have to make it easier for people to do that. Custody shouldn't be that difficult. Some people think, oh, if it's you have to sacrifice security if you're going to make it easy. I don't believe that. You can actually improve the security significantly, but also improve the usability significantly as well, and that they're not mutually exclusive. So that's one of the goals that we do have, of empowering people, but also making it easy so that they don't, they're not relying on centralized exchanges. This technology, Bitcoin, was all about removing the third party, right? It's
Right.
trust minimization. We don't need this custodian or this third party that could, again, run away with the money or get hacked. But allowing people individually to take care of their money. But we do have to make that easier. So that, I think, that's going to be the key to this whole to make this technology mainstream. And that's one of our core, I think, value propositions for our platform. At least that's what we're keenly focused on. Just make this super easy to use, but give the level of security that's required. So the entire experience should be better than what people normally have in traditional banking, and that's what traditional banks have done well. They give peace of mind. They give people comfort that they're, because holding the money for others uh, safely. So we want to have that same experience, except using and relying on technology. So
Right. Right. So is the best way to think about this? It's like replacing all the functions of a bank, or at least the main ones, in a decentralized exchange. So, maybe I'm looking for a loan, maybe I'm looking for credit, maybe I'm looking for escrow on a deal, maybe I just want to hold my money. Is that kind of your operating principle as you develop this?
Uh, yes, yes, and I think that the decentralized exchange part of it is important because people again control their keys whenever they have make a trade, make they don't have to rely on people holding security certificates
Hmm.
in a place. I think there's one major company, the DTCC, I think, is that holds all people's stock certificates. So when it comes to trading or holding cryptocurrencies or money, we when we remove that and we control our keys, we're responsible. Then it's really empowering people. Oftentimes when there are there's a risk always of these entities getting hacked or
Hmm.
leaking information or or even kind of an inside job. People just run, and there's an exit scam. There's many of these. I mean, if you look
Hmm.
at Turkey, there's a centralized crypto exchange that people are suspicious that this guy who created one of the largest exchanges in Turkey has run away. All right, so
Hmm.
there's when you have a systems like that, people involved, there's always that risk. So empowering people, uh, allowing them to keep their own keys so that all exchanges are decentralized. Uh, as long as I think that's the key to allow people to hold the keys to their money and value, so that things like this don't happen, and have the full power of cryptocurrency, which I think is the internet cash of the system. So we have a system where we could send money, cash, a bearer instrument, meaning once someone holds it or once you send it to someone, they own that value and you can't take it back. That's powerful. Like you could send cash on the internet to someone else now, and there's
Yeah.
no takebacks. Essentially, there's risks with that. Of course, there's different types of system, but the fact that you can now do it, and that's the default experience for this particular new money, I think is a good thing. So uh,
And what are your barriers to mass adoption? Because I think the proposition would be very attractive to a lot of unbanked people. Probably they don't trust the banks in the first place. But everyone's speaking a different language, different cultural standards. Economies are functioning in a lot of different ways, as I'm sure you're very familiar with because you're a world citizen. So how do you when it's one thing to penetrate a market, but how do you penetrate a market when your market is like all over the globe?
yeah, that's a good question. So I think there has to be local experiences. Language is one of the big issues with globalization, but so the product has to cater to regional preferences. So I think that's important. So we'll have to do that. Main thing is language. We also um, have to uh, cater to local currencies, so people are familiar with it. So there are customs, cultures, just experiences that people are used to, and we do have to cater to that. Mainly, it's language. Mainly, it's local currencies, and that's what our platform we can do with the software. You can shapeshift one currency to change into another currency using software and seamlessly. So we could do those kinds of things. Language is pretty easy these days to be able to translate. Uh, we'll have people that, of course, help and make sure all the translations are appropriate. Um, but so those are the two main things when it comes to global having a global application. And then culture, there's different things, I think. So I mean, we'll start in the early stages. It's a little bit more English focused. The dollar has a lot of weight in the world. So other countries use the dollar. I mean, we could talk about Venezuela as an example. I think 60% of their economy is based on the dollar, or at least transactions and commerce, rather than the bolivar, right? So the dollar is a standard, and so at least the starting point will be to use the dollar as and we have a stable coin that is a US dollar stable coin,
Hmm.
and then but eventually cater to the local currency, so that in most countries their local currencies are a better user experience. So, and I think overall this user experience is the most important thing to get adoption. I think,
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, and simplicity and minimalism is I think a global standard. I think there are probably certain cultures that it's, I mean, they can handle complexity a little bit more, but simplicity, I think anywhere around the world when it's easy to use, and the user experience is understandable, uh, I think we're going to catch on a lot more quickly. So, and that's a global standard. If you minimize, simplify, like everywhere around the world can get used to something more easily when it's like that. So,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's the key. That's our key. I think product, product,
Well, it
product.
sounds like you have a very, grand vision for where this can go and how it can serve the global economy. Where are you at right now? Tell us a bit about the history of it and where it's at now and where it's going.
Yeah. So we're couple weeks. May 18th is our launch party. So anybody listening here is invited to the launch party. And it's going to be online. It's will be on Zoom. So or it's not March. I'm sorry, May 18th. So May 18th is the launch party date. So that's our goal, to get our first beta version out to people. It's going to be invite only, so we're trying to manage the onboarding process. Our first application is called the 100x. It's a trading app. Um, uh, 100x trade powered by Bitcash Bank, and it allows people to get into crypto peer to peer without KYC or identity, registering their identity anywhere, and then being able to easily trade into Bitcoin, Ethereum, EOS. So those are that's the first user experience. We're just trying to make it very easy. Where typically we've been in crypto, for those that have been in crypto for a while. I mean, if you have a friend, you could either give them crypto, or you could just say, hey, just send me some Venmo, send me some PayPal. I'm going to send you Bitcash USD, and then which is a crypto dollar, and then you could trade into Bitcoin or Ethereum or EOS whenever you want. So it's a very easy way to get people into crypto without, if they go to a centralized exchange, really a lot of people get stuck in the KYC process. It's like takes days, maybe weeks, if it, yeah, and they realize, oh, I don't want to even give my private information. It seems too intrusive. So we just want to make it easier, kind of remove that requirement for identification. It just is friends, friends is they're sending you something, money, and you're sending crypto back. And if we create these networks of people, I think that's really empowering. It's always been more about peer-to-peer transactions, not so much as having any intermediary in between. So I think it's a more natural on ramp into crypto.
Well, if there's any
May
truth to
18th
us
is
being
what.
6 degrees removed from anyone, then how many friends have to know friends before you get a lot of people interested, right? And so that's word of mouth is still very powerful, maybe the most powerful way, particularly in strained economic situations where, look, people only want to use what they need. They don't want a lot of excessive items in their life, which I think is a trend. You know, word of mouth is even that much more powerful. So May 18th, and we will post the information below this video for anyone to join that launch party on May 18th. So that's really exciting news to announce here on Chainlock Unlocked. Very glad to share that with the community. And what more do you want to share about this? I think it's a really compelling space. I think a lot of people will want to get involved in the early stages of this. Um, did we leave anything out that you want to? Any closing thoughts on Bitcash Bank and where the future of decentralized banking is going?
Yes. Uh, Check out our website, bigcash.org. ORG is the place to go to learn more. And we're always looking for people to be a part of this, be a part of Big Cash Bank. Uh, and so feel free to reach out. You can reach me. My email is Jun at bigcash.org. Twitter, I have to be a little bit more active, but you can follow me at Merivercap. It's MERIVERCAP. And we're always looking for people to contribute, whether you're community builders or marketers or on the business side, technologists. Uh, we're always looking for contributors. So be happy to have you guys be a part of this and just reach out and be happy to start the conversations there. So
Well, great. Jun Dam, co-founder of Bitcash Bank. Thanks so much for joining Chainlock Unlocked. And we will post those links below the video so everyone can follow Jun and his work and join the party on the 18th and continue the financial and crypto revolution, which is sweeping the planet and offers really amazing benefits for everyone to get involved in new and interesting ways. Jun, thank you so much for joining us.
really appreciate the opportunity, and yeah, I look forward to hopping on and giving updates in the future as well. So thanks so much, Mark.
We'd love to have you back. Thanks so much.
All right, take care.